never remember it when
I never went with it, so
We're crowded. There's snow outside, did you not notice?
Good morning, Genesis.
Good morning.
Good morning.
2, 3, 4.
Welcome everybody to Genesis Center for Spiritual Living and our celebration service this Sunday morning. Even with the snow, we are here in our special space, our new space, and loving it. So if you're online, Cal is our communication link. And say hi, where you're from, what you're doing. Is it snowing at your house? So Genesis is continuing its minister search. We have our profile and invitational video available for review on the CSL Minister Listserv. We are starting to receive resumes, and we'll have more information to share if they pass the interview process. In the meantime, let us all join in saying our new minister's Sacred Covenant Easy Prayer. Oh, okay. There is only one life. This life is good. This life is God. This life is my life now. In knowing that I am one with this life that is God, I therefore know that I am one with all of its blessed expressions, which includes the presence of a new minister for my beloved spiritual community. Because I know that the highest purpose of my new minister is to glorify God, I therefore know that my new minister is a revelation of God as love. I further know that my new minister is a fulfillment of all which is promised by God, for it is written, I dwell in the house of love. Love attends me in my home of the soul. I shall never leave this home of the spirit. I shall abide in this home forevermore. As I stand in agreement with my beloved community, I see my new minister before me as revealing the truth and power of love. I now intend to experience my new minister in full cooperation and agreement with my community, knowing this truth about myself. For I am powerfully expressing divine love, inspiring all to do the same. I am blessing and honoring all paths of spirituality, awakening deeper truths and spiritual growth. I am the place where God shows up, expressing divine love, allowing truth and joy to heal all. I am embracing, teaching, and exploring spiritual truths from the diverse spiritual teachings. And I am teaching and embodying prosperity, trusting that God is the source of my good. As I now accept the highest expression of a new minister into my life, I know that they will be revealed in a way that will glorify God and serve the highest and greatest good of all who are touched by their presence. I am grateful God is gracious, and so it is. So, the announcements this morning are just reminders of what is happening. For more detailed information, you can check out our website, our Facebook pages, Eventbrite, and the meetup pages. Today at noon, we are doing Reclaiming Joy After Loss via Zoom. My name is Cynthia Zink, and I do that together with Diane Dyer. It's a place that people can come to when they have experienced a loss in their lives, whether it's a loss by death or moving or a relationship, any kind of loss in your life. We are there as a supportive, safe community for you to share and mend your heart. We are welcoming each and every one of you to be volunteers on Sunday mornings. Not that you have to be here every Sunday, but we would love for you to volunteer and help. With a setup if you can. We get here at 8, 8:30. And then taking down, of course, because we can't leave everything the way it is. So we have to make the space clear for other events that are happening here. And then, of course, we need somebody at the welcome table. If you'd like to do that, that would be great too. There are sign-up sheets on the welcome desk. There's a community meeting on March 5th, that's next Sunday after church, from 12:30 to 1:30. We're welcoming people to come and make suggestions. They can ask their questions. We will answer them the best we can. And also it's our potluck Sunday, so that if you would just bring something for our potluck lunch before our community meeting, that would be great. Every Wednesday night, you can join Karen Williams, practitioner, and me, practitioner, for our intention circle. We do that via Zoom. You can join us to create more miracles in your lives, and a love offering is appreciated. The Science of Mind textbook in a year, practitioner Karen Williams is doing that, and every day she posts on the Genesis Family Facebook and on her own personal Facebook page, which is Karen L. Williams RSVP. And it just guides you through the entire textbook for a year. It's not that you're going to read straight through it. It bounces all over the textbook, but you will get through the whole thing within a year. If you want to join a care circle, Karen Williams is our contact for that too. If you don't remember her Facebook page, I can give you that, or email again. Is it on there? No. It is now time to say hello and good morning to your neighbors. We can do that here, well, it's so easy to do before. So welcome everybody, and please take the time to greet your neighbor.
Beth. I'm James.
Hey, James. Nice to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Yes. Yes, New Year's Day.
I'm Michelle. I'm Anna. Nice to meet you. I don't think that works. But nice to see you. I'm Bridget. I'm Michelle. Nice to meet you too.
Thanks, guys. So, first timers here this morning. Bridget, have you been here before? That's what I thought you were here last time. Yeah, we don't have any here in the house, but if it's your first time online, have they said anything? Everybody's snowed in, they aren't even using their phones.
Rolled over.
They can't find their phones. They're in the snow.
Before we get started, does anyone need a prayer card or envelope, and/or envelope?
Oh, yes.
Or the cards are for praying for a miracle or a change in your life by possibly releasing something that is not working for you, or welcoming in the more and more good that you're already experiencing in life. When you fill out the prayer card of whatever is on your heart, a practitioner, actually several practitioners, will be praying for you. I want to thank our volunteers this morning. Hold on, I have to skip over my name. I forgot who I was and what I'm doing. Soren is running our sound and helping set up. Michael Johns is running the camera for all of you who are watching here from your home, as well as the projector. And as I mentioned before, Cal is your communication link if you are watching online. So let's give them all a hand for their help. So today is our practitioner is Dave Pinnick. Our meditation practice is a little different. So if you haven't noticed, we no longer have the meditation before our service. But there are many meditations online already that you can go to at any time, either on Facebook or on our YouTube page, right? Yeah. Again, you can listen to them at any time. Dave will be available after the service for a prayer tune-up, if you would like that. And we're going to do it over here in the sitting area, to the left of the doorway. So, Dave. Oh, I guess we need to sing Out Beyond. That is since you were here last time.
I'll meet you there. new gong in this space. I'm used to banging it in the other space and like, I don't know how hard I have to hit it. Well, thank you for that beautiful song. I always love from that Out Beyond. Remember that Eric, composed that with Rumi's words. So it's just such a great message, a great song to be able to center us today. So today we are talking about love and unconditional love and agape love, which is one of my favorite loves. And so I have a couple different readings for you today. The first is from this book, How to Change Your Life by Ernest Holmes. And as you can tell, I've really wanted to change my life because this book is really kind of worn down right now. So I advise you to change your life and get the book also. So, remember you are God's creation. God's life is your life. Do not belittle that heritage. You are a child of God, and therefore you should have a very high opinion of yourself. Thank you. No foolish conceit, but reverent understanding of your wondrous relation to God. Tell yourself over and over again that the quality of love lies within you, and that naturally you should be expressing it. Think first of those whom you love because of their nearness and dearness to you. Dwell upon their good qualities. Think of those people by name and specifically some admirable traits they possess. Kindle within your emotions as a warm glow of feeling about them. Now remember that all other people are just as truly worthy of your love and in need of it if they are to expand into finer and more beautiful ways of living. They need your love. Spend a few minutes with thoughts of love for all the world, which is sorely in need of every help you can furnish. This is not mere idle wishing. This is a definite service you can render. Your thoughts of love to mankind carry a blessing to the far corners of the globe. Do not neglect to exercise this privilege. And from Ram Dass, unconditional love really exists in each of us. It is part of our deep inner being. It's not so much an act of emotion as a state of being. It's not, I love you for this or that reason. It's not, I love you if you love me. It's love for no reason. Love without an object. And finally, love means that you accept a person with all their failures, stupidities, ugly points, and nonetheless, you see perfection in imperfection itself. Let us pray. And so right here and right now, I recognize that divine presence, that divine spirit, that divine energy, that divine love that I call God. And I recognize that love of God is not one of judgment, it's not one of looking at us on anything other than just accepting us for exactly the type of people that we are, for all our faults, for everything that we have going on with inside us. That is the true love of God. That is agape love. That is God's love for us. I recognize that power and that presence of that divine, of that absolute love of God. And I know that I am one with that presence. I know that that love is within me. And as I know that I am within that one presence, I know that every single person here is one with that love. And that when we extend and express our love upon this world, when we express who we are and give ourselves unconditionally over to this world, our love, who we are, our divine being, and we look at the whole world and we say, I love you, not because of anything you have done, not because of the money you make, not because of anything other than just giving ourselves and our spirit, who we are, absolutely, truly, over to every single person into this world. The world is changed by the God presence and the divinity that we truly have to offer. I realize that being. And I'm so very grateful. I'm so grateful for God's love. I'm so grateful for the love of this community. And I am grateful for this place, for the unconditional love, not only that is offered me, but that we offer it each other, for it lets our spirits divinely flow and lets us be who we truly are meant to be. And so with that, I give this prayer into that great law that says yes, yes, and only yes. I call it good, I call it God, because it always is, and truly always all good.
Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place. And the world will be a better place for you and me. Just wait and see. Another day goes by, but still the children cry. Put a little love in your heart. If you want the world to know, we won't let hatred grow. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place. And the world will be a better place for you and me. You just wait and see. A better place, Julio. Take a good look around, and if you're looking down, put a little love in your heart. I hope when you decide, kindness will be your guide. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place. And the world will be a better place for you and me. You just wait and see. Put a little love in your heart. 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 Put a little love in your heart.
Thank you, Rick. I think we got to all put a lot of love in our heart with that song. So that was great.
And we're going to say, I asked Gail, what is agape love? And she said, what can I sing? And she said, do this one.
That's great. Thank you so much. Second shot. Let's give him another hand. Okay, so today our guest speaker is Reverend James Kress. He is a person that loves to inspire and guide people spiritually. His deep conviction of the fundamental goodness, value, and worth of all beings shapes his life and his ministry. With over 30 years of pastoral care and ministerial experience, James brings a distinctly universal and inclusive message of sacred Christ consciousness that heals and unites all. A lifelong learner, James recently earned a Doctor of Divinity from Emerson Theological Institute and an ICF Professional Coach certification. He serves as staff minister at CSL Seattle, is married to his wife Bridget, who is with us this morning also, has 3 children, and enjoys fitness, travel, and everything outdoors. So please help me welcome Reverend James Kress.
Thank you, Cynthia, and thank you, Rick, everybody for the music this morning, and thank you all for being here. It's really nice to be back here. Last time I was with you all was January 1st of this year over the new theater, New Year's Day. You know, you have to be really committed to show up to church on New Year's Day, and it was wonderful. And would you know it, on a day like today, when it snows in Seattle, you have to be really committed to come to church. And so you're here. And I know that some of you are watching online as well, and I'm so grateful. And before the service, we had a chance to gather and share gratitudes, and you just need to know that I am grateful for the sense of love and community that exists here. This thing that we call church is not an organization. Yes, it has to be, because we have to have a place to meet and do things that we have to do, but fundamentally it's an organism. It's a living, breathing, dynamic community of people. Dave, I really appreciated your words of prayer. They fit perfectly for the message this morning. And as I trust that all of you have been aware, the theme this month is love, talking about love. I did have a chance yesterday to speak with Reverend Eric, and he caught me up on everything, and so I just thought I'd recap all of that with us to sort of get our thoughts aligned and moving this morning. But the first week of February, he talked about love as purpose, and this idea that, love as attraction, that love has an attractive force to it. What we love, we will attract to our lives. And then the week after that, it was about love as purpose, and how what we love shapes and molds our purpose in life. And then last week's talk was about tough love. And sometimes, in cases of like intervention, we have to speak words that might not be easy to hear. Or like in the context of parenting, those of us who have kids, we know that there's a transition from being kind of a director as a parent to becoming more of a coach and more of a guide as they age and mature. And so today I'm really excited to kind of bat clean up this fourth week, the fourth batter on the plate here, and talk about this idea of love as agape. How many of you are familiar with that term, agape love? Michael Beckwith is the Agape Spiritual Center. We're familiar with that. And so my intention here today as we talk about agape love is to not just raise our consciousness, but hopefully expand and strengthen our consciousness of love, individually and as a community. Thinking about love as a force of growth and evolution in our lives. So what I'm going to do today is explore this element of love through 3 dimensions. Love as it relates to ourself, love as it relates to others, and love as it relates to the universe. In doing that, when we think about ourselves, it's going to be love as it pertains to the essence of love. When we think of love in relationship to others, we're going to be thinking about love as energy, an energy that moves and helps us grow and evolve. And then when we think of love in our connection to the universe and the earth, it's really the effect. What is the effect of this thing called agape love? But before we dive into it, I just want to say a word about words. Words have both definition and meaning. Take, for instance, a word that's used in church circles often, the word worship. What's your relationship to the word worship? Well, if I were to tell you, I worship my work, you might think, this guy's got a problem. I don't know about this, but, and yes, worship does have a word that's used in connection to deity and sacred, but the fundamental meaning of the word worship is simply to ascribe value and worth to something. And so if I were to say to you, I worship my work, I would further explain to you that I ascribe a high value of worth to the work that I'm doing here today, in the sense that all of you are taking time out of your lives to give a few moments of attention and thought to the words I have to say. And so, therefore, there is a value of worth and honor and respect and gratitude that I bring to what's going on today. Certainly, though, there are many meanings to this word love when we use it, right? I could tell you that I love hot buttered popcorn. I love it. I could eat it all day. I could also tell you that I love my wife. But the love that I have for my wife is much different than the love that I have for popcorn or other things in life. Here's the point. One word, but multiple meanings. And as appreciative as I am of the English language, I also see the limits of it. Because I think we would all agree, love is a word that's thrown around a lot. And yet it means many different things. I am thankful for other languages that are a little bit more precise and nuanced in the meaning of love. And the Greek language happens to be one of those. I think there are 8 words that are used for love. The ones that I'm most familiar with are the ones that are used in the Bible, in the Christian Bible. And there's 4 of them that are found in there. And I want to share these with you so we can put this word agape in its context. The first kind of love that's talked about is a word called phileo. Does that sound familiar? Philadelphia. Right. What is Philadelphia? The city of what? Brotherly love. Yes. It's a brotherly love and affection. Love that is exchanged between equals. It's loving, but it tends to be a little bit more transactional in quality. A second Greek word for love that we find is the Greek word storge. Storge speaks to love amongst family members. So spouses, parents, children. A third word for love in the Greek is the word eros. What do you think that means?
Loving.
Dave, you're on that. Yes, he is. Bring on the love. Bring on the romance. Bring on the sensuality. That's exactly right. Eros, from which we get the word erotic. But that romantic, sensual love. And then the fourth one that we're going to talk about today is this word agape. And the word agape means to esteem, to value, to be faithful to delight in, to set your affection upon. And in the Bible, it is a word that is used to describe the love connected to God, or source, or spirit, or Christ consciousness, whatever word you want to use. Here's the idea, and we've already talked about it this morning. The quality of agape love is it is not bounded by limits or conditions. Agape love is unconditional and unlimited. Now, what I want to do for just a few moments before we get into this is put on the professor hat. Okay, so if you're opposed to that, go ahead and check Facebook and figure out where you want to go have lunch today. But I think this is really important. I think you're going to really appreciate it. Because I want to put on the professor hat, not just talk about the meaning of the word agape, but also how it's used through 2 very familiar Bible verses. Anybody know John 3:16? What is it? For God?
For God's love.
Go ahead.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life.
That's exactly right. For God so loved the world. Guess what that word for love is in the Greek? For God so agape the world. That's right. God so agape the world. Now, here's the cool thing, again, about foreign languages. They are more nuanced than English. I'll give you 3 big words. You can go home today and say, what did you learn in church today? I learned 3 big words. The verb love, agape, in the Bible is the word aorist. It comes in an aorist active indicative in the Greek.
Thank you.
How about that?
I
didn't know
knew
that.
that.
Okay?
You're sounding like my dad.
That's right. Putting on the professor hat for just a minute, but here's what's okay. The aorist tense in the Greek is an action that is not connected to time. So, when we think of it in the English, and again, if you were brought up in a Christian church, God so loved the world that he sent Jesus. Okay, and that's true, but it's not entirely true as it is in the original language. Because with this aorist active tenses is God is loving the world. That he, she, it sends Jesus and you, me. Do you see that? The love that God shows, the love that God gives, is not just one thing that happened to one person in the past, but it is an ongoing, continuous action that is always happening now. The idea here is that this quality of agape love there's a stability to it. It's not tied to a particular point in time, past, present, and future. And so there's a quality to it that is stable and grounded. God loves and is always loving. There's another verse I want to think about here. And this is the verse where Jesus talked about what is the great commandment. Anybody grow up in church and learn that one? What is the great commandment? Yeah. Love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Sorry, you're having flashbacks here, Cynthia. That's okay. Jesus was asked, what's the great commandment? And he said, easy. Love God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. That's the first one. The second one is love your neighbor as yourself. Guess what that word for love is in there? It's the word agape. Agape God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. Agape your neighbor as yourself. Now again, back to the professor hat in Greek, the verb tense in there is a future active indicative. And what that fancy word means is it's a simple, progressive action in the future. So if we want to be really literal, because I think sometimes the English translations are limited, it's I will be loving God and I will be loving my neighbor as myself. You will be loving God and be loving your neighbor as yourself. We collectively will be loving God and loving our neighbor as ourselves, is what the essence of that is. And the point here is this: agape love is also moving and flowing and evolving. So as we think of this nature of unconditional, boundless love, it is stable and unchanging and moving and flowing at the same time. Like it or not, we're changing. And I thought about this sometimes because we may think, well, maybe I'm not changing the way I think I should be. Or maybe they aren't changing the way I think they should be. Or whatever. Agape love says, oh yes, like it or not, things are always changing. And the experience of life is living with those ebbs and flows, ups and downs, expectations, unexpected expectations, and working out love amongst ourselves. So, in the time that we have left, again, I want to think about this agape love as it relates to ourselves, as it relates to each other, and as it relates to the world. First, agape love as it relates to us. Here in our tradition, we teach and we believe that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, right? We are not human beings trying really, really, really hard to have a spiritual experience. No. We see this human experience as beautiful, wonderful, incredible, and temporal. Every time I go to a cemetery, I'm reminded of how temporal life is, because what are some things that most tombstones have in common? A name, 2 dates, and a dash. These years that we have on earth are that dash between those 2 dates. That's our life. But this idea of ourselves as being spiritual beings, having a human experience, the essence and the nature of our spirituality is love. I love the way that Richard Rohr says it. What God loves, God becomes. And so love is not something that God has. Love is something that God is. You and me, as expressions of that love, love is not something that you and I have. Love is something that you and I are. And this is so important that I want us to take a few moments this morning and just allow that to settle. Love is something that we are. Why is this important? Because especially in the West, we're so pragmatic. We're so pragmatic. What do I mean by that? We're enamored with how things work. And sometimes when it comes to life and spirituality, the word or the question, is it true, gets supplanted by, how does it work? Or does it work? And I'm all for practical spirituality. But I think there comes a point in time where we need to put the checklists and the to-do lists away and just allow what is real to soak and penetrate into our being. We are human what? Beings, not human doings. So I'd like to just invite you all to just take a moment right now and just close your eyes and take a few nice, deep breaths. I know you've been following along and maybe like me been in your head a lot about this, but as you sit and notice the sensation of your breathing, just allow your awareness to drop into your body. And as your awareness drops into your body, your being, and your essence, just allow the words, I am love, to be present for you. Just repeat it a few times. And just notice what happens in your body. I am love. I am love. Allow those words to move and be and live in you. And then just gently taking a couple more breaths, allowing your awareness to come back into the room here. Open your eyes. I'm just curious how that was for some of you to do that. Anything change or anything shift? And it's just a small little micro practice, but I would encourage you. It's a very simple practice in your own life. So simple and so true. I am love. The essence of agape love is not something out. If you can just take away anything from this, agape love is not something out there in Godland. Agape love is right here. And you know what? We all have a limitless abundance of it because it's who we are. The application of that, you know what that means? Is that you belong here just as you are. You belong here. We belong here just because we are. How amazing is that? That leads to the second one. What is this thing about agape love and we as a community? Here, this is where the energy is. And again, reminder of the other words we talked about. Phileo, brotherly love. Storge, familial love. Eros, erotic, romantic love. Agape, no loves, no boundaries and no limits. It would be tempting to think that this type of love is all rainbows, butterflies, and unicorns, right? Not true. I'd like to tell you a story from the life of Jesus. Towards the very end of his life, from the Gospel of John, he had an interaction after the resurrection, before he ascended back into heaven in the story. One of his closest friends, Peter, St. Peter, was having an interaction with Jesus. And again, the English, we lose it, because in the English, it says, Jesus asked Peter, do you love me? Peter says, yes, I love you. Feed my sheep. Jesus to Peter, Peter, do you love me? Peter, yes, I love you. Tend my lambs. And from that, this whole idea of Peter becoming the first leader of the church and the Pope is, and all that history is there. But in the Greek, it's more nuanced. Jesus asked Peter, his closest friend, do you agape me? And Peter responds, yes, Jesus, I phileo you. Jesus says, tend my sheep. A second time, Jesus asks Peter, Peter, do you agape me? Peter says, yes, Jesus, I phileo you. Tend my lambs. The third time, Jesus says, Peter, do you phileo me? And it says that Peter was sad. He was grieved that Jesus changed the question from agape to phileo. And Peter responded by, I'm exposed. You see everything. And Jesus' answer to Peter was, a time is coming, Peter, where you are going to stretch out your arms. You are going to be dressed and taken to places where you don't want to go. Now, metaphysically and allegorically, I think that is a question for as we grow and as we mature through life and in relationships. In the first half of our life, the question is, what do I want to get out of life? Or what do I want to make life be? But as we mature and as we evolve, the question shifts to, what does life want from me? How does life want to play me? And remember, for Peter, a few scenes before the crucifixion, Jesus said to Peter, you're going to deny me. And Peter said, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. And Jesus said, I tell you, before the rooster crows 3 times, you're going to deny me. And after that, he did. What is the meaning and what is the lesson for us in here? It's this: agape love and unconditional love sometimes is difficult. Let me put it to you this way. One of the teachers I follow is a gentleman named Armand Bitan. You can look him up on the Moments of Awe website. And he puts it visually, and it really helps me kind of sort some of this stuff out visually. So if the words don't help, what we're talking about here is the way he explains it is this. If you can think of yourself, or you can think of your relationship, be it your intimate relationship, community, or whatever, as a circle. And in the center of that circle is the place from which meaning goes out. There is a meaning, there is an understanding of life that goes out from the center of the circle to the world. Also, there are meanings that come in from the outside. So if you can imagine this circle with a line and meaning going out to it and meaning that's coming in, where those two meanings intersect, that's where the sparks fly. That's where the creation is. That's where the evolution is. That's where the love is, because it's in that space where the internal meaning and the external meaning meet that new meaning is made and new meaning is discovered. That's what happened to Peter and Jesus. I think we can think of all of our lives and relationships that we go through, be it a relationship with a spouse, be it a relationship with a parent, be it a relationship with a kid, be it a relationship with a friend. Meanings change. I thought I knew you. I thought I understood you. I thought I got this. I thought I got that, or whatever. And it's difficult, and it's hard. Here's the point. Lean into that discomfort. Because it's in that discomfort that evolution happens. You can think of it another way. Armand puts it this way. In a loving relationship, person A and person B, there's a flow that's between them of love and connection. As we go through life, there can be a C, something else, a third, either a person or a thing. It could be a person, it could be a job, or whatever. And one of the effects of that third can be jealousy, or fear, or a disruption of something. The idea here is agape love that knows no bounds or no limits, invites us into living into that energy and that discomfort. Why? So that a new love can evolve and grow and change. Here's this thing with agape love. Love cannot be reasoned with, only experienced and surrendered to. In agape love, we don't hold on to love. Love holds on to us. In a loving relationship, power begins when the other person is objectified. And when you are connected, there is no need to control, but there is a strong need to be present. The point here is this: in the flow of agape love, in the intelligence of agape love, in the experience of agape love relationally, whatever it might be, in community or something like that, it's the idea of surrendering, emptying, receiving, and thereby expanding into your experience of love. Back to the example of Jesus and Peter. Peter was so close to having walked with Jesus. And yet the meaning that he was ascribing out did not meet with the external meaning that Jesus was putting into it. And there was friction there. The legend has it that St. Peter was crucified upside down for his faith. The point is that each and every one of us, the archetype of the cross is Jesus dying on the cross. We're in the Christian tradition taught that Jesus died because of, or for sins, because we're all so bad and we're so horrible, rough with people. Sadly, that was a doctrine that came into the church years and years, centuries after Jesus lived. The archetype of Jesus on the cross is not dying for sin, but dying as sin, because of, as an example for us as we go through life. We're going to have our own crosses to bear. And it's an archetype and an invitation to live into that suffering and to trust and experience love in a new way. Another way to think about it is the parable of the wage earners. I don't know if you're familiar with that one. But Jesus told the story of workers who showed up to work. A group of them showed up at 9 in the morning, a group of them showed up at noon, and a group of them showed up at 3. And at the end of the day, you know what? They all got paid the same. Can you imagine that? Yeah. Wait a minute. I showed up at 9. This guy shows up at 3. We get the same paycheck? In the world of agape love, yes, that's an illustration of grace. Grace is not opposed to effort. Grace is opposed to earning. That's the lesson there. So the idea is agape love sometimes can turn our world inside out and upside down. The first will be last. The last will be first. Find your life, lose it. You want to gain power within, surrender to something without. It's an inverse logic, but that's how it works. Thirdly, and then we'll wrap up here. So what is the effect of all of this? Agape, love, and the universe. So we've been talking about ourselves, the essence of love. We've been thinking about each other, the energy of love. In these last few moments, let me invite you to expand your awareness now out to the world and the effect of agape love. Think of our world. Think of nature, the earth, the universe, the cosmos. What comes to mind when you think about that? I know for me, it's beauty, it's wonder, it's awe. Be it the sun, rain, wind, snow. Can we say that? The trees. There's something about nature, in some way, shape, or form, I think if we're honest, that inspires a sense of wonder and awe. This is an amazing world in which we live. Think about a sunrise or a sunset. Isn't there something awesome and amazing about a sunrise or a sunset? And here's what's cool. Sunrises and sunsets just happen. It's like this love in this world is just on display regardless of what we think about it. There's no feedback. There's no customer reviews. There's no, how can we up-level this sunrise or this sunset? It just is. And I so love that because we live in a world, everything is rated. Even me. How's James do? What's it? Is it a 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, 1-star review? We just are so saturated with that. And I get it. I'm not here to diss all of that, but I'm here to put that in the greater perspective of the wonder and the glory of life. And you know what this says to me? As a person and an individual, there's a difference between striving to be the best in the world and just living to be the best for the world. You and I are loved just as we are, just because we are. Our community, our relationships are perfect just as they are, in the ebb and the flow and the pain and the joy of their evolution and their growth. And all of this is happening in a world of connection and unity and sacred beauty and wonder and awe. And therefore, we can be captured, we can be animated, we can be taken back and coming back to the goodness and the love that is here. So I really hope, and it's my prayer, that all of what I say to you, I say to myself as well. ministers and preachers who do this, they're just working out their stuff publicly. So what I say to you, I say to myself, and as an expression of what's being worked out in me. But my intention and my hope is that you can take these words and allow them to not just raise your consciousness of love, but also expand and strengthen it as a community. And so with that, we take in the abundance of agape love that is in us, as us, and among us. And in that knowledge, and in that awareness, and in that conviction, we are here knowing that this moment is perfect. This day is perfect as it unfolds. And so therefore we can go with confidence. We can go with joy. We can go with gratitude, living into the goodness and the fullness that is here today. And so in that, in the greatest sense of agape love, with faith, joy, and gratitude, we say, and so it is. Thank you.
Okay, hello.
It's always great when you're here with us. So now it's time in our service where we focus on our giving and our receiving. If you have not received a prayer card and an offering envelope, if you would raise your hands, I think we all have to. So the offering, obviously you know what to do with the offering envelope, but if you want to take a moment to fill out your prayer card, if you're online, you can now submit a prayer request online at genesiscsl.org. Once you've completed your prayer request, let us move into crafting our gift to Genesis. Please remember that our center is supported by God, and we welcome you to be part of how God's support shows up. If you are on Facebook, please visit our website at genesiscsl.org, or you can text your tithes to 206-800-7595. Let us take a moment for all who are still crafting their prayer requests or their offering. Sorry. If you would now join me in holding your envelope and prayer cards to your heart and join me in the offering prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am thankful. Okay, and let's sing our song while Gideon is gathering the offering prayer cards.
God is my resource, God is my power, that gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God is my joy, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
So I receive these gifts, these blessings that have been given to Genesis because we know that from that place of agape love, we love to give. And we also all know that as we give, so shall we receive. And I know that the blessings are perfect, just as they came in today. And so it is.
So it is.
Thank you all for joining us. We are wishing each and every one of you online and here at our new space a week filled with joy, love, and true connection. If you want to stand for our closing song, that would be great.